How would you like to serve a spread like this at your next birthday or family party? Also, would you believe me if I told you I made this entire spread for under $80? Join me here on Sheena's Homestead, and I'm going to show you how to put this together yourself. Hi friends, welcome back to Sheena's Homestead. If you're new here, I'm Sheena and this is my homestead. And on today's episode, I am going to show you how you can throw a party very inexpensively. So today we are making a chili charcuterie board. Chili is one of my favorite things to serve at a party in the fall and winter time. And I am going to tell you why. So when I make chili, I use ground beef as the base, but here is the secret. This is the money-saving part. I add in a lot of beans. So I have kidney beans here, and I also use pinto beans. And this stretches my chili very, very far. I can easily feed my entire family and all of our friends on a chili dinner, and it doesn't break the bank. Another way that I like to save some money is I add macaroni. So macaroni is very filling and it helps kids fill up as well. So you put your macaroni down in your bowl first and then scoop the chili on top. So instead of eating just a lot of ground beef or whatever you make your chili with, turkey, whatever, we are adding beans and macaroni, and this helps us to stretch that chili a whole lot further. So come along with me today and I'm going to show you how I make a chili charcuterie board that will knock the socks off of any of your guests. So to get started today, we are going to begin with our chili. Now you can make this chili in a crock pot. That is a great way to serve it, but I'm going to make it today in my cast iron Dutch oven. So a couple of ingredients that we're going to need. I use salsa in my chili. It is a great way to get all the garlic and onions and things that you need inside your chili without having to chop all of that stuff up. Today I am using salsa that I canned and jarred myself from my garden, but before I canned and jarred my own things, I used organic salsa from Costco. I love the Kirkland brand and it gives a really great taste, really great flavor, and it just has a really nice hot kick at the end that is perfect. So today I'm using spicy salsa for mine. I have some extra corn that I freeze dried. You can use corn from your freezer. You can add that into your chili, but we are also going to add it into our cornbread muffins. So I have a cornbread mix from Trader Joe's and we are going to use that as the base for our cornbread muffins. You can see I have a lot of extra fillers along the way for our chili party, and that is what makes this an affordable party meal. Okay, so we're going to start off with just browning our meat. I have 2 pounds of ground beef here. You can use as much as you need to feed the amount of people that you have, but this is what I'm working with. And my ground beef is organic, so the price of that is going to be just a little bit higher than conventional, but I always prefer organic. I put about 2 tablespoons of chili in. I can always add more at the end, and I usually do a teaspoon of garlic powder. This is just another level of flavor for us because we do already have garlic in our salsa, but I find that garlic powder has just a different kind of garlic taste. And so I like to add that layer in. And then just a small shake of ground cumin. Of course, I have the full recipe down in the comments if you want to make it the same way that I am. And last but not least, some salt. I'm doing about a teaspoon. So your next step is to just make sure that your ground beef is all smashed into tiny bite-sized pieces. And then I am going to add ketchup. I am going to add at least a cup and a half, almost a whole bottle. Now it is time to add my salsa straight from the garden. Okay, so that is something we are just gonna let sit on simmer. The longer your chili sits there as you're making other things, the more flavors absorb into the meat and it just marries perfectly and comes together at the end. So we're gonna let that sit. And I just want to remind you, we don't add the beans until the end, because if we cook our beans too long, they will disintegrate and fall apart, and that is not what we want. So I will probably wait until 30 minutes before I'm ready to serve my chili, and then I will add my beans. You guys, I just taste tested that chili and it is dynamite. So good. I am really excited. Every time I make this for a party, I get so many compliments. People come up saying they love my chili, which, you know, that is a compliment in itself. But I think that chili is just one of those things that really warms people up. And it's just a cozy meal. So to be able to serve that to family and friends for a party is wonderful. I always make chili for my dad and Jacob's birthday. They both have November birthdays. So it's just a cozy time of year. And yes, there's a lot of, you know, turkey and, you know, big meals like that during that month. And chili is just one of those things that fills a lot of bellies, and it's just very different than the traditional holiday food. Also a great meal for the rest of winter as well. If you have a birthday party or anything to throw in January and February and even into March, it's just the perfect cozy food. So let's get on to our next step here. I gotta find my cornbread. So I buy my cornbread mix from Trader Joe's. It's super inexpensive and it's really easy to put together. So the directions are on the box. Preheat your oven to 350. This recipe requires the dry mix that we have here. And then 3/4 cup of milk. A 1/2 cup of oil. I always use olive oil. I do not even have vegetable oil here in the house. Canola oil is not the greatest for you. So we always use olive oil even in my baking. I have coconut oil as well, but for this recipe, olive oil and a whole egg. And we are going to just whisk this up. You want to make sure when you're making your cornbread that you don't over mix your mixture, because you don't want your batter to be tough. So we're just going to gently combine our ingredients here. And then there's already freeze-dried corn in this recipe, but I never feel like it's enough. And this is also a great way to fill bellies on a budget. So a bag of corn, even organic, is like $1.99. So take a whole bunch of that and add it right to your recipe. You're going to expand the volume of cornbread that you get out of this by adding more corn. So I'm adding about a cup. You can add as much as you like. One tip I will give you is if you're adding frozen corn, I would pop it in the microwave first. And just get it nice and thawed, and then drain the water out, because the water of frozen corn could make the mixture of our cornbread a little different, and we don't want to do that. You'll end up with soggy cornbread. But if you are able to drain it first, it shouldn't have an effect on your final recipe. And if you're worried about it at all, you can always add a little bit of extra cornmeal to your muffin mix, so that you offset that extra corn. But the cost of all that is minimal in comparison to just buying another box of cornbread. The whole purpose of this party meal is to save a couple bucks anywhere we can. My next step here is to get this mixture into these muffin tins, and I am going to use coconut spray to spray these each down. You definitely want to make sure you use something for non-stick, but I am using big ones and little ones. So I love doing a mixture of these because it just makes it really easy for kids to grab a littler one. Parents also see the little ones and assume that they're for kids, so they're not taking a giant big cornbread muffin that their child might not eat and end up tossing out. So we have less waste when we do it this way. Plus it adds a nice fun texture to our little charcuterie board of chili toppings when we have two different sizes. So I am just gonna spray this down. Sometimes the coconut oil gets stuck. All right, here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the little ones first. Right, so it's easy as that. You can see I didn't fill the muffin tins all the way, but that's okay. So I've just got this for the adults and these for the kids. And of course, if there's an adult who wants a smaller portion, they can just take one of these. So into the oven these go. All right, so we're getting really close to being able to dish up our dinner. So I am going to add our beans. We're about 30 minutes out at this point from wrapping everything up. Look how much volume we've already added to our chili. Now I have added 4 cans of beans, 2 kidney and 2 pinto. And this is the ratio of meat to beans that I have, but you most certainly can add a lot more beans. And if I was having more people than I'm having tonight, I would most definitely put in probably 2 more cans, if not more. Okay, my friends, we're getting close. So now I am going to start the macaroni. I'm not going to make you watch me make it. Macaroni from a box is simple, so pick your favorite one and make sure you have enough for everybody. In this instance, I have 2 boxes, but you could easily do 3 or 4. Macaroni never goes to waste. And if there's leftover chili at the end of the party, you can just combine the macaroni into the chili and just let it go in the refrigerator just like that. You can pull it back up for leftovers and it tends to heat up perfectly just like that. Okay, well, I'm so excited because this is the part that I love. Now we get to put together our chili charcuterie board. So before we get started, let me just explain. If you've seen my episodes before, I like to have everything around me, kind of like a painter's palette, so that I can pull from things and just be as creative as I need to be while I am creating the board. So I've got all my pieces out. I have the cornbread that we made together, the macaroni and cheese. I cut up some red bell pepper. My kids love bell pepper, so I guarantee that they'll love to put a couple pieces in their chili or at least to the side. We have sour cream. We have these adorable corn chip dippers from Trader Joe's. We've got our cheese. We've got green onions, an array of herbs. We've got guacamole and these chips too. So it's important when you're doing something like chili that has a lot of sides that have like a brown color to them, like the cornbread and the sour cream. We want to mix different colors together to make it very appealing to the eye. So I've got these chips because I think that they are perfect fall colors, and it's going to just pull everything together. We can put them all over in different spots. It's going to be perfect. So here I have some vegetable chips that I got from Trader Joe's. They're beautiful. They come in 3 different colors. They're perfect for fall, but they're also perfect for Christmas because they have the red and green in there too. So I would suggest running out and grabbing a couple bags of these for your holiday hosting needs. They do tend to sell out quickly. And here, as you can see, I'm just arranging them nice and pretty. I kind of want all of the ends to fan out, and I try to get them as close to the edge of my charcuterie board as possible so that it looks abundant and overflowing with food and love. This is the way I style all of my charcuterie boards. Doesn't matter the product, it is the same principles that apply. Another thing I like to do is try to make sure I use the same food on one side of the tray as the other. I think visually it is really appealing, and it kind of ties everything together. And here I'm showing you just these little pumpkins that I got from Trader Joe's. They're super cute and festive, so I like to use something like that on there as decoration. And here I am putting guacamole right into this bowl. This is a little bowl that I got from Aldi this year on sale. It's perfect for this occasion. And I just put a little glass bowl down first so that I don't have to put the guacamole into the pumpkin itself. Just keeps it nice and clean and separate for myself. So now we're going to take these corn dippers and I'm just going to lay them out next to the guacamole because it is the perfect chip to dip into that guacamole. And I am actually using 3 different platters here. I wanted them all to look very earthy. So one is like a slice of a log, and the other one is actual olive wood. I believe it's from Greece, and it's a great platter. I use it all the time for charcuterie. And then here you can see I have our macaroni and cheese. Macaroni and cheese tends to be the star of the show, even though it is the easiest thing out of all of this stuff to put on this platter. But I think macaroni and cheese makes even adults very excited. So it's got a beautiful golden color. I really like how that pairs with our other accents on our charcuterie board. And I'm just gonna keep filing in with different things that we have. Now I've got my cornbread. I'm putting a couple of the bigger ones down first, and then I'm going to fill in with the smaller ones that we made. Remember, the whole trick to creating a really beautiful and impressive charcuterie board is to make things look abundant. So when you can put a whole bunch of little things like this, like these little muffins on top of each other in one little spot there, it just looks like it's overflowing with yummy goodness. So that is my trick for you. Try to keep that in mind when you are creating your charcuterie boards. It makes a big difference. I almost forgot to put our sour cream in this mix. I am making sure to put it nice and close to the chili, as it is probably the first thing people will put on top of their chili when they get started. So it's fun to think about different toppings that you can put on top of your chili. Here I have some pickled jalapenos that I pickled from my own garden this year. They sure are a special treat. Everybody always asks me when they see the mason jar if it is from my own garden, and the answer to that is yes. Now I have some cut up red bell pepper. My kids love raw bell pepper, as you probably know. So I am going to leave these just in slivers so that kids can take from them if they would like to. And you can also just put them right on the top of your chili and enjoy them that way as well. But I love the pop of color that the peppers provide. It kind of helps bring out some of the red in the accents of the chips. And I think it just pulls everything together perfectly. I'm going to top off our sour cream here with a little bit of fresh dill from the garden. It is the last of the fresh dill, so we will enjoy this very much. And now I'm just trying to look around to see what I have left and where I can fill some empty gaps. So this is a Mexican blend cheese. I'm just putting it in a clear little dish, and I'll find a spot for that as well. I'm just topping our chili with some cut up green onions. It adds a lot of fresh color and pulls together everything on this charcuterie board. I think we are almost ready to serve. Well, friends, what do you think? This is a pretty impressive spread, and I am positive that your friends and family are gonna think so too. A big pot of chili. It did not cost us that much. We've got some cornbread and we've spread it all over so people can pick and choose where they want to grab from. We have these beautiful chips that are vegetable chips from Trader Joe's, but they add just the right amount of color. They bring in some of that orange so we can pull from the other colors we have here. And then the red is like the chili and the green is like the green onion. You know I'm a photographer, so color plays an important role in my life, and it plays an important role in yours too. We just don't realize how much color can change a whole entire palette, and when we have the right things that pull it together, it's just pure magic. Hope you enjoy this spread. I've got some guacamole, sour cream, homemade pickled jalapenos. They're just delicious. We've got macaroni and cheese, which, you know, every adult wants to dive into that macaroni and cheese. They think it's for the kids, and when they find out that it's for them too, they're gonna be so happy. And it was such an inexpensive way to add more bulk to our meal. So don't forget, my money saving tips are: add beans to your chili. You can double the volume of your chili. You still have meat in it. It's still organic. It still tastes great. But put those beans in it. They really fill people up, and they're good for you too. Another tip is add macaroni and cheese. It's an inexpensive way to fill up bellies. And then our cornbread. So cornbread also fills people up. And we added 1.5 cups more of corn to our recipe so that we could get more cornbread out of our box. As you can see, this came together really well. I serve this a lot for parties, especially in the fall, and I hope that you try it too, because your family's going to be really impressed and you are going to have a great party. I hope all these tips help you, my friend. I hope you have great parties for the ones that you love. And please join me next time on Sheena's Homestead. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and you'll get notified every time I post a new video. I will see you real soon, my friends. Bye!